guess I can take off my helmet now. Hi, my name's Peter. I like motorcycles and motorcycle camping. Do you wear all the gear all the time? A lot of people claim to. I get people mentioning that on my channel all the time. So what does it mean? If you only ride for a trip in the summer where you're riding on a planned route and you're going on a camping trip and you're gone for 2 weeks, or you're on a road trip and that's when you do your riding, and the rest of the time the bike's sitting in the garage, that's a different all the time than me. Because I ride year round. I probably ride 2 or 3 times a week, if not 7 days a week. And I ride to go to the store, I ride to visit my friends, I ride to work, I ride as much as I can. If I'm grumpy, my wife sends me out to go for a ride because she knows I'll come back with a smile on my face. So all the time for me means lots of riding in all kinds of circumstances. And do I always wear all the gear? No, I don't. I'd have to say that I wear most of the gear most of the time. But I did some research for this video, and I'd like to discuss what that really means, all the gear all the time. And I found that there's a lot of room for improvement, at least for me. So let's go through what the gear means and what we can do to make sure that we're safe on the road. Stick with me, and I'm sure you'll learn something. Motorcycle helmets are required in all Canadian provinces, and they have been since before I was old enough to ride legally. But have I always worn one? Well, there was a loophole. In the 80s, Canada brought in a new constitution, including a Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And the Charter of Rights and Freedoms conflicted with the way some laws are written, so there was a brief period of time when BC had no helmet law. But I remember a day when I was riding through downtown Vancouver on my Yamaha 650 Special. I was smoking a cigarette, no helmet, thought I was cool as shit. Well, fortunately the laws came back and put an end to that kind of nonsense. I wear a helmet now, and I'm glad to. And I've had a few falls off-road where I felt my helmet come into contact with the ground. So I know that it's important. Knock on wood, I have not had a road accident, but like they say, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I got to go out every day being prepared to hit the ground while I'm riding. The folly of youth aside, I'll admit one more lapse. When I was in Yellowstone National Park, where the speed limit was 35 miles an hour and it's just bumper to bumper traffic, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I had a little time where I let the wind blow through my hair. But I don't have as much hair as I used to, and there wasn't very much wind. The rest of the time, I'm wearing a helmet. The first helmet that I can remember owning, I bought, was an open face helmet that I bought from Value Village. Since helmets have a 5-year shelf life, that helmet was probably unsafe from the moment I bought it. Fortunately, a friend of mine persuaded me to buy a full face helmet by describing what happened to his brother when a driver opened a door in front of him. And that's a good reminder that every single ride can be dangerous for us on motorcycles. Helmet safety is governed by specific certification standards. In the US, there's the DOT standard, which is the minimum standard. There's also the Snell Foundation standards, and Europe has the ECE standard. And British Columbia, a helmet has to meet at least one of those standards. In recent years, new technologies have improved helmet safety, including the MIPS, which stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System. Traditional helmets are primarily designed to protect against direct linear impacts. However, most of the time you don't fall directly onto the road, you fall onto the road at an angle, so there's a rotational force. The MIPS system adds a low friction inner layer that allows the helmet to slightly rotate relative to the head upon impact, reducing that rotational energy. This innovation has been shown to lower the risk of certain types of brain injuries, such as concussions and diffuse axonal injuries, which are caused by rapid twisting or shearing forces. The new ECE standard 2206 updates to include rotational injuries, but I can't tell you whether or not that's the same as the MIPS system. Well, there's a lot more to say about helmet safety, but I don't have time for that in this video, so I hope the YouTube algorithm shows you some more motorcycle safety videos. And if you're interested in helmet safety, check out the Doodle on a Motorcycle video about the MIPS system. I'll put a link in the show notes. So earplugs. When I rode the Idaho BDR, my buddy put his earplugs in every time, and that's a good example for me. And if my audiologist friend is watching this, he could go ahead and put a comment in, because he's one of the people who understands the most about how earplugs benefit riders and saving their hearing. You know, people complain a lot about their noise, and I've looked for quiet helmets, but the quietest thing you can do is put a plug in. At highway speeds, wind noise alone can reach between 95 and 110 decibels. That's louder than a chainsaw or a rock concert. Prolonged exposure to this level of sound can lead to noise-induced hearing loss, tinnitus, and increased fatigue. Even a short ride at high speed without hearing protection can cause temporary hearing damage, and over time this can become permanent. And if you think that loud pipes save lives, then you're probably already deaf to this argument. Beyond hearing protection, earplugs can also improve riding safety and comfort. Lower noise levels allow riders to concentrate better, communicate more clearly with intercom systems, and experience less distraction from the wind roar. Studies have shown that riders who use ear protection are more alert and less tired after extended trips. In the long run, consistent use of earplugs preserves hearing health and enhances the enjoyment of riding. Protecting your ears is just as essential as protecting your head, because once hearing is lost, it doesn't come back. The jacket. Okay, so I have my good jacket on. Riding in British Columbia means you need a jacket almost all the time. Might have a few weeks in the summer when I'm tempted to ride a t-shirt, but the rest of the time I'm got to be wearing a jacket anyway, so it might as well be one that protects me. In a crash, a well-made jacket can significantly reduce the risk of serious injury by preventing road rash, bruising, and even fractures. Unlike ordinary clothing, motorcycle jackets are engineered to resist tearing and sliding on pavement, and should include armor in key areas such as the shoulders, elbows, and the back. And if you saw me fall in Idaho, you know that my shoulder armor was really helpful. I ended up with an injured shoulder, but it would have been way worse without a good jacket. And motorcycle jackets serve another purpose, and that's to enhance visibility. So when you have a high-vis jacket, people can see you better. My sister says she always recognizes me on the road because I have a high-vis jacket and I have a high-vis helmet. Here in North America, there's a lot of gear for sale that claims to be motorcycle protective gear, but it's not certified. So you have to be really sure if you're when you're buying a jacket, pants, or gloves, or boots, that you're getting something that's been tested and certified. Otherwise, it's not anywhere near as safe as you think it is. So this is a textile jacket. Leather is also, one of the best things you can get. You get leather motorcycle jackets with padding. That's probably the ultimate. And racers use leathers. So that's the best. But leathers tend to be bulkier and they tend to be hotter. This jacket has ventilation, sort of, and lets a little bit of air through. I have a mesh jacket to wear when it's really hot out, and I'll wear that jacket June through August, and I'll wear another jacket during the colder months of the year with another liner to put in when it's really cold. Let's talk about pants. So I'm wearing these Oxford pants that I put on at the beginning of the video. These are waterproof, which is why they're my winter jackets, but they also have knee pads and they have hip protectors, and they're certified to protect me in a slide. Now I gotta admit that pants are probably the one area where I skip my protection the most. I never wear with a pair of shorts, but I wear ordinary jeans a lot. And to be honest, that's not much better than a pair of shorts. Ordinary jeans will shred on contact with the pavement in about half a second. So that's, you got a half a second more protection than you would if you're wearing a pair of shorts. I recently bought a pair of Kevlar jeans, which will protect me a lot more. But what I've found in researching this video is that the jeans that I bought are not certified, and I could have done much better if I'd bought a pair of certified jeans. With uncertified jeans, you don't know how good they're going to be, and you're not going to find out until you test them in a real-world situation, which could be too late. Certified jeans cost around $400, which is quite a bit more than I paid, and they're guaranteed to protect me for a slide up to 4 seconds, which is generally enough to prevent really serious road rash. And the boots, okay, so motorcycle boots are an essential part of a rider's gear. And there's all kinds of stuff, and again, boots are something that I skip sometimes, right? I don't ride in running shoes. There's an Australian public service announcement that shows a guy leaving his house, getting on his bike and going around the corner and wiping out. And then in slow motion, it shows you what's happening to the flesh off of his foot as he drags it down the road in a pair of sneakers. So you don't want to be in that situation. I sometimes wear a pair of leather boots that I got from Mark's Work Warehouse that are not certified and are not made for motorcycles. If you want to know what happens to a foot when you're wearing non-certified boots, take a look at Moto Giant's channel. I'll put a link below where he explains his accident. He lost his foot and he was wearing boots that are better than the ones that I've been wearing. So I'm going to stick to my certified boots. These are the motocross boots that I bought for off-road riding. I have a pair of Alpine Stars that are waterproof that I generally wear in the winter. And I have a pair of sporty shoe boots that are also certified that I bought when I was riding my BMW R1200 RS. So I could wear those all on the bike and I could wear them to work as well. And then gloves. These gloves that I'm wearing today are from the company called Five, and they're TFX Adventure 2s. They are certified, CE certified, level 1. Beyond certification, riders should look for gloves that balance protection with comfort and usability. Breathable membranes, touchscreen compatible fingertips, and flexible panels can make a major difference on long rides, encouraging consistent use. Even the safest glove is only effective if worn every time a rider gets on the bike. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is airbags. And I've never used an airbag, but I think you can't claim to be using all the gear all the time if you don't have an airbag, because they're now affordable for average riders. Airbags were originally designed for racers, and they've been for moving at high speed and coming off a bike, and they've been saving lives for years. But now they're available for us regular folks for as low as $400. I found some for $429 when I was doing my research. So, you know, I mean, that's not chump change to a guy like me, but it's not something that's outrageous. I used to think that airbags are going to be at least $1,000. The top systems are still over $1,000, but you can get airbag vests that are standalone, or you can get them as part of a jacket, and you're going to pay, you know, $500 to $800 for a jacket anyways. Why not pay a few $100s more and get one that's got an airbag in it? Okay, so if you're interested in, there's a really great Adam Ryman video where he's testing an airbag, and that's especially appropriate for those of us who ride off-road to see what that was like. And you know, my fear, I fell twice on the first day of the Idaho BDR, is that I'm just going to be running out of money reinflating my airbag. But they don't deploy as easily as you might think. So check out Adam Ryman's video. I'll put a link in the show notes. So after watching this video, can you really still claim to be wearing all the gear all the time? If so, my hat's off to you. I'm going to do better. I will definitely up my game and ditch the cheap boots and ditch the cheap gloves. And I'm going to look at the next time I replace my jacket, maybe I'll get an airbag or I'll get a standalone airbag. There's enough room in this jacket. I've lost some weight since I bought it, and I think I can wear an airbag under it, but there's a couple of different systems that I'm looking into. So maybe by the next time I do a BDR, I'll be wearing an off-road airbag, or the next time I do a road trip, I'll be wearing an on-road airbag. Who knows? Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you stay safe out there and do the best you can to protect yourself. There's a lot of idiots on the road with 4 wheels under them, and they're not looking out for your safety. So you have to look out for yourself. See you next time.